Hey everybody, and welcome to this Wargame Red Dragon crash course. This is meant for anyone who just started playing or is about to start playing the game and has no clue what to do or how to approach it. Especially at the time of this video being released, Wargame is about to be free to play on the Epic Games Store, so chances are that you picked it up there when watching this video. Now keep in mind that this is not a comprehensive tutorial. Instead, this is meant as a short introduction for anyone who can't be bothered to watch a dozen videos or read 200 pages worth of guides. However, if you are interested in either of those, in the description I will link various resources for you to check out if you're willing to delve deeper into Wargame. But enough of that, let's get down to the most important basics you should be aware of. Before actually starting to play, you should know that Wargame is heavily focused onto multiplayer. While you may very well enjoy the single player campaigns or playing skirmishes versus the AI, most players are interested in the player versus player aspect. Nonetheless, most of the stuff here should be helpful no matter which way you want to play. First, you should be aware that with the exception of the campaign, the game is played with decks that determine what units you have access to in a match. The default decks are just bad, and it takes way too much time to explain how to properly build a deck, so instead there will be a link in the description for some curated starter decks that have access to all of the units you'd need in a normal match. They are not min-maxed, but instead meant to cover all the necessary basics, so once you feel more comfortable with the game and the units, you should definitely consider adjusting them to your own playstyle. To import decks, just open the deck menu and click on the import button, then paste the deck code and press confirm. Done. When it comes to in-game knowledge, the first thing you should learn is movement. All vehicles have two types of speed, normal and road speed, with the road speed being standardized for tracked and wheeled vehicles. What you must be aware of is that the road speed is only utilized if you use the fast move command. Only then will units actively use roads and the massively increased speed. But this comes at a cost of units driving to their target destination no matter what. In short, if there are enemy units nearby, they will not stop. They might shoot while moving if they are able to, but will never adjust their pathing for that. As a result, you should only use this to get your units to or between front lines where you know it is safe. In most other circumstances, you should use the attack move. This is especially crucial for tanks, as they have very low armor to the side and rear. If you attack move them, they will automatically stop and turn their hull towards an enemy that gets into range while on the way to that target destination, and shoot at them until they are either dead or out of line of sight. Similarly to that, use the reverse command to have your tanks move backwards and keep their front armor towards the enemy while retreating. Normal movement, that means simply right clicking, should only be done if you want the unit to get to a place no matter what. This is most notably done with infantry when retreating or repositioning them in towns or forests. Speaking of which, infantry can inhabit town blocks, which you notice when they are colored red or blue, depending on which team's infantry is in the building. While that is the case, they take massively reduced damage from incoming fire and are harder to detect. The same goes for infantry in forests, though the damage reduction as well as a stealth bonus is not as high. Next up, you should know about command vehicles, or CVs. You can recognize them by the star symbol in their unit name. They are incredibly expensive, costing 100 points minimum, and with the exception of command tanks are very easy to kill. You need them to capture zones, which in the destruction game mode determine your income, and in the conquest game mode determine your victory points. Additionally, some zones give you access to unit spawns indicated by arrows when you zoom out far enough. Typically, your starting zone is also a spawn point. To capture a zone with a command unit, it has to stand still, so make sure to place it in cover and be ready to defend it if necessary. Furthermore, it doesn't matter how many command units you have in there, so one is more than enough. If an enemy also has a command unit in the zone, it will turn to neutral. And once again, the amount of command units in the zone does not matter, so even if you have 10 and your opponent only 1, the zone will stay neutral. The last bit of information that is incredibly useful to know early on is the unit information panel. I'm not going to explain you how to evaluate all the different stats, that would take way too much time. The unit cards themselves are rather self-explanatory when looking at them, it's just that there's so much to take in at once. But if you identify an enemy unit and don't know what it does, open the unit information panel, either by clicking the rectangular button at the bottom or by using the hotkey, default here is I. Especially in tank engagements, this is going to be very crucial, because while at first glance you will not be able to properly determine the combat power of the enemy unit, looking at a cost will at least give you a rough indication. If your tank costs 85 points and your opponent's tank 170 points, then you can be sure that you will be at a disadvantage, at least head on. And that's really all there is to it. The, in my eyes, absolute basics that you should be aware of early on. If you want to learn more, there's plenty of material. Both for those who like to read and those who prefer watching videos, there will be resources both basic and advanced for you in the description, all categorized. Lastly, I would like to mention that your decks do not have to be absolutely perfect, or that you have to play the exact way someone else does in order to have fun. Try to learn at your own pace. Some people just like to mess around with random stuff. Others want to go through dozens of guides before starting to play. Some players, me included, play this game rather competitively and thus min-max their decks and try hard a lot. Others don't. The game offers so much, there are a lot of ways to enjoy it. So don't let anyone tell you to not enjoy 10 vs 10s or certain game modes, but also don't be afraid to try out something else. And with this, I hope you found this video useful and give Wargame a try. I thank you very much for watching and hopefully see you next time. See ya!